Hello everyone, welcome back to Lily Lulu, or welcome if it's your first visit. My name is Karen and I'm here today to make some embellishments for the journal I'm working on, the Fox journal. And what I'm going to make, I'm just trying to find in here to show. This was the very first journal I ever made, and it's it's a bit of a mishmash in here. This is not boding well, is it, for the rest of the day? I've got some of my own personal ephemera in here that I want to keep, and I've also got ideas in here of that I've seen on YouTube, and I've recreated and I've shoved in here for reference. And I'm just trying to show you what I'm making today is some button and paper flowers that I stick on as embellishments, and there are loads of them in here, but of course I'm flicking through now and I can't find one to show you what I'm talking about. Not that they're anything very complicated. I've been making them for years and years. There we go, there's one. So it's just basically two pieces of paper and a button sewn together. That's what we're making. As I said, I've been making them for years. Years and years ago, I used to sell them, packs of them on eBay. So the stamp I use is this one. It's from Stamping Up. I've no idea if it's still available, if it's retired. But if you wanted, I mean, anything similar to this would work. But if you wanted to have a look for that, that's what it looks like. And all I'm going to do is I'm just going to stamp some book page first, and then I'll stamp some more colourful pages, and then we'll just go through and stick them together. I'm not sure how many I'm going to make today. 1, 2, 3, 4, there's 5 there. That will do to start with. And then I'm just using random bits of the digitals that I printed out, just to see what they looked like. These are left over from another project, the fairy journal that I made that you will have seen. So we can have a bit of that. Can't get that in. Don't really want fairy toes in it. Let's just have a couple there. So these may well go in the Fox journal. They may be put in my box to be used for other things, because obviously I'm not going to want millions of them. So, and then all I do is I've got a huge selection of buttons. I've got 4 of these jars of different coloured buttons, and I've also pulled in my button tin. There's loads. I was having a look through there actually. I thought I had some Fox buttons, but I've had to look through. I can't see any. But I've got loads of different types of buttons there. So I might pull some out of there. And then I've got some embroidery thread. If you've been watching me for a while, you may know that my first crafty love was cross stitch, and I don't really do it anymore, but I do have loads and loads and loads of embroidery floss, which comes in very handy for making journals. So I'm just trying to thread this needle. Should have brought my needle threader with me. I wanted to use the bigger needle, but some of these buttons have probably got very tiny little holes in them, so that won't work. So then all I do is I just take one of the pieces of book page and one of the pieces of coloured paper, and I try and sort of offset them so that they're like that, instead of lining up the petals like that, I try and make sure that you can see both lots of petals. And then I just start by securing my thread. I like to have a base to start from. Ooh, go through. Like that. And sometimes I do this, and sometimes I sew the button on as normal, and sometimes I do it and tie the thread. Oh, I've got a really itchy nose this morning. Sometimes I tie the thread on the top of the button, you know, to make more of a feature. Now I want to obviously bear in mind the colours that are in this journal, because a lot of these will be used for this journal. So that's a bit big. How does that one look? And I like to do sort of random combinations of colours and things, just to add a bit of brightness. And then what I will also probably do when I come to use these is I will ink up the papers so that they are a bit grungier than they are right now, because otherwise they won't really go with our journal, and I can't get my needle back through the paper. There we go. See it there, I'm just sewing the button on roughly in the centre of the flowers. I'm not, you know, it's purely eyeballing it. Some of them will be, you know, a bit skew-iffy, and some of them will be more accurate, but you know, real flowers are all slightly different to each other. They're not perfect. So, and it's a junk journal, so we don't want perfection. We want it to be unique. So I just go through each button sort of 2 or 3 times. And these are really, I mean, they are tricky to do sometimes, trying to, you know, come back through the holes and find your buttonhole again. But, you know, they're not taxing. It's quite relaxing to make these. You can sit and make these while you're watching telly, and, you know, you don't really have to think about it. And then I just go through the back here a couple of times, secure my threads, chop that off, and then these can be used on the pages like you just saw in that journal. They can be used on the covers, they can be used, you know, to hold little envelopes closed, all sorts of things, and they're quite pretty. So that's my first one. So don't think I'll get another one out of that piece of thread, so let's have a laugh. And oh, I'm tangled up here. Put on here. So I hope everybody's well. It's a lovely day here today, so I hope it's nice wherever you are. I'm just grabbing 5 minutes, well, probably a bit longer than 5 minutes, to film this while everybody is out at work. I have to go and pick my middle daughter up shortly. So, and my husband has just left for work, so I thought, while there's nobody in, I'll take the opportunity to make a video and hope that the dogs cooperate. I've got the back door open because it's nice and warm, so there's a lovely breeze, but it does mean that the dogs could start creating at any moment. So we'll just hope that they behave themselves for a little bit. Right, let me try and thread this again. I've doubled the thread up and it's, oh, mind you, I had it double last time, didn't I? So if I use a shorter piece, it's easy for each button, but it means I have to keep threading the needle. Maybe I should thread a few needles before I come on, and then it wouldn't be so painful for everybody. Right, go in, go in, go in, go in. Right, that's another one done. So let's choose a button out of here. Let's have a little green one, and let's swap these around this time. So let's have another plainish one, and we'll have the book page on top this time. So the other thing I do quite frequently when I'm making these is I do stab myself, and then I can't use the flowers because they've got blood on them, which is lovely. Nobody wants that, do they, in their journals? So, right, let's pop this little one on. Cute little green button. Now that one I can see is not going to be in the centre, but I'm not worried about it. As I say, it's not supposed to be perfect, which is just as well where I'm involved. Come on, go in, go in, go in, go in. Oh, goodness gracious me. I'm making this look far more difficult than it should be, but a bit like the last video where I was making the cover, it's always the way, as soon as you turn the camera on, I don't know if it's because you're more self-conscious or if it's just, you know, that law. But when you've got the camera on, if it can go wrong, it will go wrong. Right, so that's number 3, so that should do for that one. And so I can see that that's not in the middle, but I don't think it really matters. I think they still look pretty. So I'll just go through here. Again, I go through there to secure the threads and chop that one off. So I wonder if that will be enough to do another one. We'll see. So that's number 2. And what else have we got here? Oh, that one's quite pretty. That says POW on it. I don't really want that showing, but I think once the top flower's on, that should be all right. Sometimes with these book pages, you know, you have to be a bit careful with the wordage. Don't want any nasties peeking through. Right, that should be okay. Just try and get that centered. Now, just secure my 2 flowers together and just try and catch this underneath because that's just a single one this time. Just try and make sure I've caught that in the loop. Oh my goodness me. There we go. So this is the point where I have to say to any returning subscribers, I really do appreciate your support, because sometimes I feel like it must be quite painful watching me craft. So thank you very much for coming back for more. I do try and come up in different places through the paper flowers, so that I'm not just making the same hole in the paper bigger and bigger all the time. But because then these are glued down when you use them, I think that does help, you know, keep everything secure and stop it falling to pieces. So you can see they're quite quick to make, even though I am making a meal of them as usual. But they do come together quickly, and I think they do look really pretty when you use them. So, oops. I feel like I'm all fingers and thumbs today. And, oops, that's another one done. So we've got 3 there. And I'm sorry, I'm going to have to thread my needle again. I think I need to get my eyes checked. I'm sure my eyesight has deteriorated over the last couple of years. I'm not sure how often you're supposed to have an eye test in the UK. I thought it used to be every year. Then I think last time I went, they said it was every 2 years. So I did have a bit of an argument with them. I always used to go to a very famous chain of opticians and take the children when they were younger. And 2 years running, or 2 visits running, and I think it was 2 years running, they called us for a routine eye check. Oh, for goodness sake, this one really doesn't want to go in. And literally getting bombarded with texts and letters and, you know, make your eye appointment, your eye check is due, blah, blah, blah. And bearing in mind that it was me and my 3 girls. So, you know, I'm getting those times 4, those messages. So you can imagine how inundated I was with messages. And so I made the appointment, perfectly fine, no query, no quibble, and went to the appointment only to be told, you shouldn't be here for this appointment, you're not due for another year. And I said, you know, you called me, your reminder has kicked in, you know, the automatic reminder, and I've rung up and made an appointment. Nobody said, oh, that's been sent, you know, by mistake, you shouldn't be coming yet or anything. And so we're here. So they very grudgingly saw us. And then the next time we were called, exactly the same thing happened again. Got there, and this man was really rude to me. You know, I don't know why, if it's only skin off their nose, but he was, you know, basically accusing me of playing the system, trying to get. I mean, it's not really fun going to have your eyes tested, is it? I can think of better ways to spend my afternoon. Thank you very much. And he was really, really rude to me. So I will never, ever go back to that optician's again. I won't go to any of them in that chain. And then, of course, we had the pandemic, so nobody went anywhere for anything during that time. So I feel like now it really is time that I ventured back to get my eyes checked, because it must be 3 years since I last had them checked, at least. But that sort of put me off. You know, I felt like I was doing something wrong, and I wasn't. I mean, you don't get eye tests for free, do you? You have to pay for these things nowadays. So I don't really know what their problem was, but suffice to say, I have unsubscribed from all their emails, and I have asked them not to contact me again, because I will not be going back. But where we live now, there's an independent opticians in the village where my husband went, and they were really good, very helpful. So I think we will be going there. And obviously the children my girls are that much older now, they can sort themselves out for eye tests and things. They don't need me to do it for them, so I won't need to worry. So there's our fourth one. Now, which one should we use now? Which button? That one's sort of the same colour as the thread. Oh no, it's not. Not that it matters. I'm not trying to match anything. As I say, I'm just trying to do them fairly round. And I feel like we need something reddish, or I've got a little red one there. What else have we got in here? That's a darker red. So I've got a green and a sort of a tan colour and a teal colour. What else might go? Oh, she could have a heart one in the middle. I'm not sure if white will show up enough though. I have done a yellow one, haven't I? Right, what should we do now then? I might do this red one. So let's line this up. Make sure I can't see any words we'd rather not see. And pop that through the middle. And hope I've got enough thread left to do this one. Oh, it's very quiet here today. Even the dogs are quiet. That's good. Button. You need a button, Karen. So we'll pop that one on there. So I know these buttons are quite bright, you know, when you're doing a sort of a vintagey journal, but when you ink up the paper, that makes a difference. And it's quite nice to have a little pop of colour here and there, even in the vintagey journals, I think. So that's what I'm doing. And as I say, not all of these will be used in this particular journal I'm working on right now. Some of these will go in my little stash of these paper flowers, so that they're ready, you know, whenever I want to use them. I used to have a great big bag of these at all times, because I say I did used to sell them. But when I knew we would be moving, I stopped making them, and I've, you know, used up my stash, and I only have a couple left. So I thought, and I fancied having a few on this journal, so I thought I'd make some today, and I'd show you all how I do them. And I think I'll just do 1 or 2 more. How many have I got cut out? I've got 3 of those, but I don't have any more book page. Let's have a look. The book page. Get one out of there. And just need to rip this whiteness off so that I can reach the text. Okay. So let's thread the needle again. I'm trying not to use the longer pieces of these embroidery threads because they can be used for sewing signatures in, but these shorter pieces are not long enough for sewing signatures in, so I use them for things like this. I used to store all my threads in a little plastic wallet, and so I used to cut them all down to size to fit that wallet, which was fine when I was cross stitching, but now a lot of my threads are too short for using for sewing signatures in, and I like using embroidery thread for sewing signatures in because I've got such a huge choice of colours to use. So it's a shame that a lot of them are now too short. I might pop that one on this. What I love about junk journaling is whatever crafts you've done in the past, or even still do, you can invariably incorporate elements of that craft or the skills you learnt in that craft into junk journaling. I love it, and I mean I've done lots of different crafts. I loved sewing and patchwork. I'm not very good at sewing, not machine sewing, but I have done quilting and patchwork and a bit of embroidery and cross stitch and knitting and crochet, as well as lots of paper crafts. So I do have quite an eclectic assortment of craft supplies, and even though I you know, tools wise, I had to downsize and get rid of quite a lot of my craft tools a few years ago, so I don't have much stash left in the way of tools, but actual supplies like buttons and fabric and yarns and things, I'm quite lucky. I have a nice little supply, although lots of them are not suitable for the type of journals I like to make, but you can usually adapt things to make them work. And it's nice to give old things a new lease of life, a new purpose. So I'd love to know what other crafts you do, and you know, how did you end up making junk journals? If you do make junk journals, maybe you just like watching other people make junk journals. For a long time I just used to watch people working on journals before I plucked up the courage to make one for myself. I don't know why I needed to pluck up courage, but you know, that's how we are sometimes, isn't it? You need a bit of confidence to try something new. Even though it doesn't matter with junk journals, you know how it turns out. There's no wrong, there's no right. It's just what you like and the way you like it. So I don't know why, you know, we let ourselves get so scared of these things, but I certainly do. Which is very silly. So there's another one. It's turning into a little bit of a mass make today, isn't it? But they are so quick and easy. And pop that through there. So if I do this last one, need to check the words here because I think that one's all right. This page was talking about prisoners of war and things, so I'll just pop it underneath and then don't need to worry so much. These look good as well with music paper and dictionary page, you know, any sort of book page, and even doing a mixture of book pages, you know, like a novel and a dictionary page, or dictionary page and music. You don't need to have the more decorative paper. You can just use the different types of book page type paper. And oh, I forgot to stick my button on. Come on. And they do look quite good. So shall we have the heart one on there? I don't think that stands out enough. Yeah, why not? I'll have that one. Oh dear, somebody's had the nerve to go out in their garden just along the road. The dogs can hear them, they've gone out to investigate. So be warned, we may have barking to follow. I think they're just having a listen at the moment. So I will make this the last one because I'm pushing my luck piecewise. And you've seen plenty now of how I make them. So if you want to give them a try for yourself, you know, it's not rocket science. You've quite a clear idea now, I should think, of how to do them. Not difficult, as I say, just sometimes tricky to find your, ouch, to find the hole in your button. See, it's gone all over the place on the back of that one. Through there and secure that there. Chop that off. Let's put my needle back before I lose it. So these buttons back in the jar. And have a look at what we've done. So we've got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. I think they're quite pretty. So let me know what you think of those, and if you're going to have a go at making your own. Love to see some pictures. Thank you for joining me today. Take care, enjoy the rest of your weekend, and I will see you all again very soon. Bye bye.